Welcome to another edition of James Martell's Coffee Talk, where James, successful publisher, speaker, and author of Online Success for Non-Techies, talks frankly and openly with experts from within the internet marketing industry about strategies and techniques you can use to develop a successful online presence for your personal or corporate brand. Here's your host, James Martell.
Well, good evening, everyone. James Martell here, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk. We're going to have a great session tonight, and I've got a very special guest on the line, Mr. Chris Sanderson from Bangkok, Thailand, and we're going to have a very interesting conversation about what it's like to work in and actually live in another country as somebody who is in the affiliate business. So it's going to be a very exciting bunch of information, I would think. This is definitely a hot button of mine. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. Thanks to the affiliate business, I've had a chance to do a lot of travel, and I find that the more travel I do, the more travel I want to do. One challenge, though, is I think probably everybody would agree when you get away on a holiday or you get to someplace else that's warm and wonderful, that you always have to go home a little bit too early. You're not quite ready to leave. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. One of the very interesting things that I would like to do, and I've got a bunch of friends that have done it and are currently living in other places, thanks to businesses that they're running, is actually live somewhere else. And I know for some people that may not be a total hot button, but for me it is. And I know a lot of people, though, even though they may not want to move somewhere permanently, the idea of actually being able to run your affiliate business from a laptop computer sitting on a beach somewhere or on a cruise ship or in a little internet cafe tucked away in some little corner of the world is really quite appealing. Arlene and I, my wife Arlene, we've actually talked often, and a lot more recently we've talked a lot more about it because we're actually in the position where we can now do it. We're actually starting to formalize a plan where we're going to be moving and living in other places. And although we live in the Vancouver area on the west coast of Canada, and it's a very beautiful place, it would be nice to see some other places on the planet. So for those that are working on their businesses and those that are already successful, welcome to everybody to the call. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. One of the things that I would love to do is own some property in another country. I've got a good friend who actually bought a condo down in Panama a few years ago and has been moving back and forth from Vancouver to Panama, living there for a little bit and then coming back. And one of the ideas that we're starting to formalize is buying a piece of property in a place like Panama or maybe even Panama and using that as a home base for 3 months of the year. I don't know if any of you have ever stumbled across some of these websites like homeexchange.com or House Swap, where they allow you to swap houses with other people who live around the planet. That's what we plan to do for another 3 months of the year. So we'll own some property in a place like Panama, and then for 3 months, and then we will exchange houses with somebody else who lives somewhere else for 3 months, so we can go see some of these other great places of the country, or of the planet, where we can actually spend some time there. Another thing that I don't like about traveling is usually you don't get enough time to actually see everything, so you end up having to go back all the time to kind of finish it off. Where if you actually lived somewhere for 3 months, you could probably get a real good idea of seeing it. So live in a place like Panama for 3 months in your own property, then exchange it with somebody else in another place like Thailand for another 3 months, and then the last 6 months we would live back here in Canada during the obviously the best time of the year, which would be between May and October. Then when November 1st hit, off we go, miss the snow and the rain and all the bad weather. So that's kind of the plan, and that's a little bit about what we're going to be talking about tonight. So Chris, I'd like to welcome you to the call. It's great to have you on.
Thank you, James. It's great to be here.
I know you're. I know it's bright and early in the morning in Bangkok, Thailand. And what time is it there right now?
It's just turned 8:20, James.
8:20 a.m. in the morning, and I know I'm sitting here at my desk here at 6:20 in the afternoon. We just had dinner, and you're probably just finishing breakfast.
Not quite. You got me just before breakfast, so on my second cup of coffee, though.
Okay. Well, that's why we call it Coffee Talk. Huh? We got to have our coffee. We have to have our coffee. So for those that may not be familiar with Chris Sanderson, let me give you a little bit of an intro, and let the listeners know where I ran into you and how I got to know you. Chris has traveled out to Vancouver here 3 times, and for the last 3 years, maybe prior to that, you've been up before. How many times have you been out to Vancouver?
3 times now, yeah.
3 times, okay. So the first time I met Chris was at the Affiliate Marketers Alliance dinner in Vancouver in 2005, and we had a chance to chat, and then he returned again for the same event in 2006, and then more recently you were back again just a couple of months ago, for again the Affiliate Marketers Alliance dinner that was put on by Ian Lee. And many of you will probably recall Ian, for those long-time Coffee Talk listeners or the ones that have listened to the show for a while now, where I had a chance to talk with Ian about how you can run it and develop a newsletter for your site so you can, increase your income through repeated visitors through existing traffic. And we had a good chance to chat, and Ian runs an event called the Affiliate Marketers Alliance Dinner. It's an annual event where a group of affiliates come together and we get to sit down and just have dinner together. There's no meeting, there's no presentation, it's just basically let's all get together, have some fun, and chat over a nice meal. And you were there a couple of months ago, Chris, and we had a chance to chat again. And one of the things that, Chris actually kind of laughed at me for a bit there, because I asked him some questions about this idea of living in another place, and he goes, James, I've been here twice before, and you've asked me the exact same questions each time. So obviously this is something that's interesting to me, and I think it'll be interesting to listeners. So let me give people a little bit of your background, and then I'm going to ask you maybe if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit of your history and how you got to Bangkok, and
no worries.
How that all came to be. But I understand you own the website AMWSO. You're an affiliate marketing outsourcing company, or you own an outsourcing company. And maybe for new listeners, why don't you explain what that is?
Yeah, basically we run affiliate programs for merchants, mainly in the USA, who either are too small to hire an in-house affiliate manager or are large enough that they want to outsource that part of their business because they're looking for a professional company to handle it. They're concerned about consistency of keeping staff and maintaining knowledge. So we basically handle companies large and small, run their affiliate programs for them, and bring the knowledge and experience that our managers have to bear on those programs. So
I noticed on your website that you've won a couple of awards from LinkShare, being the LinkShare Golden Links finalist on 2 occasions. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's nice to be recognized for the work we're doing. We have a lot of LinkShare clients, so we work well with them, and I think we work with CJ a little bit, and also with ShareASale and Share Results. So we kind of spread our clients around, but LinkShare has been one of our key networks over the past few years.
Now tell me, maybe you could give us a little bit of your history. How did you, where did you live prior to moving? And then maybe give us a little bit of how this all came to be. I know I'm living in Vancouver, and for me, all of a sudden, to find myself living in another country would be an interesting story, because it hasn't yet happened. But it has happened for you. So how did that come about?
Well, I initially fled England when I was about 17 or 18, and funny enough, I went to the States initially for 6 months, and I kind of traveled around the US and down into Mexico a little bit. And then I came back to England for a little bit, and then I headed over to Scandinavia, and I spent 4 years working in Denmark and Norway and Sweden. And after 4 years there, and Denmark's a great country where I spent most of my time, I was getting a little bit of the travel bug. I wanted to get out and see something new, so I applied for 3 jobs around the world, 1 in Japan, 1 in Hungary, and 1 in Thailand, and the company in Japan never replied. The guys in Hungary sent me a application form I couldn't understand, and the guys in Thailand offered me a job straight away. I thought, well, that's easy. So I flew out to Thailand in 1992, which was just after the coup. They had a coup here in May of 92. I arrived 5 days after that, which was kind of a bit exciting. And I've been ever since, really. And I didn't choose Thailand as such. It just happened to be the place that offered me a job, and I just jumped on a plane and got here, and there I was on a one-way ticket, and it was time to see what I could do.
So when you landed in Thailand, when you first arrived, were you planning on staying, or was this going to be a short-term
I really had no plans at all, James. I'd come across for the job. I started working, and people say that in Thailand you go through different phases of kind of loving the country, being irritated by that country, and hating the country, and that's a kind of 3-year process of kind of finding a niche or learning how to live in the country. So you go through that kind of process, and once I'd gone through that period, I realized that I really enjoyed being here, and that's when I kind of decided that I was going to be here long term. But certainly when I first got here, there was no real plan to be here long term. It might be I was here for 6 months and then I was on to somewhere else, but it just happened like I got here and I stayed here. So Thailand's very much my home nowadays. So when people talk about traveling, I think about Vancouver as a great place to go, and you think of Thailand as a great place to go.
Yeah, it's funny. Home is always home, isn't it?
Exactly. When you talk about a home exchange, James, any time, I'll swap homes with you in Vancouver, and you can take my home in Thailand.
Oh, hey,
that'd be great for me.
Done. Definitely done. We should put a blog together with that one. That'd be a riot. Now, so you landed there. So that was 1992, and then you took the job and you got working. How long did it take you to get settled there? Because I know people are probably thinking, and many people have probably never even considered this as an option. And I'd like to encourage people to kind of maybe consider it. And if you're not thinking of actually moving or living somewhere else, the possibility of spending 3 months somewhere working on your business, plus getting to know the local culture and the local tourism type events, the beaches or whatever you are and wherever you are, where you can spend some time. But when you got there, now you landed on an airplane, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
You're in a brand new country. You don't know your way around. You don't speak the language. How did this unfold for you?
It was strange in that, Bangkok itself is a huge city, and that was something in itself I wasn't expecting. I'd really not done my homework at all. I just kind of got here, and most people see Southeast Asia through the eyes of Vietnam and the jungle, and it's a kind of it looks very quaint and it's all old-fashioned. And so when I got to Bangkok, I was really in the kind of Vietnam mode, and I wasn't expecting the big tower buildings and the high rises and the motorways and the mass of traffic there was here. So I almost had that kind of reverse culture shock of I was expecting the low tech, and I was suddenly I could have landed in New York and it'd be no different. So that for me was the big shock of the fact that Bangkok is a city that you can pick it up and you can throw it into any country and it'll get on fine, because it is just a big capital city. It's no different from anywhere else almost. So once you get to Bangkok, a lot of people do speak English, although Thai is the local language. But a lot of taxi drivers speak English, the hotels all speak English, so kind of getting settled in was quite easy, because the Thais are very, very friendly, they're very welcoming, they're very happy to have you visit the country, so they want you to experience their country, so it wasn't really difficult to settle in and start learning what's going on and where to go and who to talk to. People are happy to talk to you, they're happy to help you. It's not like you're going to, if you as a foreigner on the street, if you stop a Thai person and ask them for help, they're super happy to help you. It's not like if you walk up to them in New York and they kind of back away from you, they're concerned you might be robbing them or something. So in Thailand, it's a very friendly culture. People are welcoming. They do want to talk to you, and they're as much interested in as who you are and what you're doing and what you want to see and where you're from as you are about learning about their country.
It's always interesting, when we think about other countries, because a lot of people think, well, Thailand, that must be dangerous, or if I'm going to go down to Panama, that can't be very safe. But I guess the reality of it is probably, we get our travel information probably from watching the news. And just like we see here, we get the bad news that happens in some of these countries. Now, Canada's got its fair share of bad news, and of course our TV, radio, and television stations love to show it to us over and over again. But through the conversations I was having with you here, it was really nice to hear that a safe place. You've got your kids. You're married.
Yep.
A couple of kids.
Yep.
How many kids do you have?
I've got 2, Alex and Ben. They're 4 years old and 9 years old. Alex has just woken up actually, and he's wondering why Daddy's on the phone and not giving a big hug this morning. So as far as living there now, what you've been there since '92, so that's about 15 years. 15 years, yes.
What would you say? Do you miss anything from where you came from, or?
I do in some respects. I do miss the kind of English countryside. English countryside I think is very unique, and you can't find anything like that in Asia. It's something that I do miss, is the kind of the smell of English countryside, or the English hills, the kind of mountains. That's something I miss. I'm not going to say I miss snow hugely. It is nice to experience snow every now and again, but I don't massively miss the snow, especially the melting bit when it gets kind of slushy and ugly.
Yep.
But I do miss the kind of the white powdery part of the snow. And certainly this Christmas, that's something we're planning to do, is take the kids somewhere where there's going to be some snow, because neither of my kids have ever seen snow, so that'll be a huge experience for them to kind of be cold.
Oh yeah, that'll be fabulous.
Not sure much they like that experience, but they want to experience it. They want to have some snow, and so we'll do that this year.
That'd actually be an amazing thing, to be able to take your kids to see snow for the first time.
Yeah.
You never really, when being from Canada, you don't really have that ever, because we of course grow up with it. But that would be quite the thing. As far as, now when you move to a country like Thailand, what happens to your citizenship from the country you came from? You came from Britain, right?
Britain, yeah. I mean, Thailand's a bit unique in that it is very, very difficult for a foreigner to become Thai. So I'm still very British. I have my British passport. I have to have the right visas to stay here, the work permit, and that kind of thing. So.
And you definitely haven't lost your British accent.
No, I've not. It's faded a bit. I mean, it's certainly not got the kind of regional accent, and I do get mistaken for Australian every now and again. So, but the accent is still there. Yeah. Where was I? Yeah. So I mean, moving to Thailand, you're still basically, I'm still British. I have my passport and stuff. My kids though are kind of, they're Thai and British. My wife is Thai, so we're very much a kind of multinational family, kind of mixed culture there, and that's great. I guess one of the things about moving overseas is, if you want to find a country that you want to kind of become a full-time resident, is to find out which countries are easy to move into, which countries are more welcoming of foreigners in terms of, land ownership, or becoming a actual local citizen, or whether you just want to be there as a holiday home and travel in and out every now and again, or, like I said, having a 3-month holiday home. Different countries are generally better for different ideas.
One of the things that I'm always looking at, and one of my big frustrations about living where we live, is the cost of living. I mean, it's absolutely horrendous. I see today gas has gone up to $1.25 a liter, which is about, I don't know how many dollars a gallon, but it's a lot. And typically I don't worry about the gas prices as a rule. It's kind of why I got into affiliate marketing. One day we were finding ourselves moaning and groaning and complaining about the high cost of living in gas, and decided that we were just going to out-earn it and not worry about it anymore. However, it's getting ridiculous. I mean, I feel like the money we make is just wasted. It's just completely, it almost doesn't matter how much you make, because there's always a place to waste it around here. And you take a look at the property values, a house now is anywhere between $500,000 and $1.5 million. It's just completely crazy. And we're feed to death. Every time you got parking tickets, you got all the little fees and services, and I'm just, quite frankly, I'm fed up with it. So when we were chatting a few months ago about, some of the costs what it would cost to live in Thailand. For example, you and I and Phil and who else went out for dinner on that Friday night? A couple of days after the Affiliate Marketers Alliance dinner, Chris took us out for dinner, and we went. Oh, it was Jesse from 101 Hosting.
Jesse, that's right, yeah.
And we're sitting around having dinner, and I don't know what dinner cost, but it was a couple $300 for 4 of us, and it was a beautiful dinner, and had a great time, and thank you for that.
That was my pleasure.
We got to talking about what it would cost to go out for dinner in Thailand, and maybe you could share that with the listeners. Living in Asia, there's a whole different cost of living, and a lot of things that are expensive or perceived to be expensive in Europe or in North America can be very, very cheap. I mean, food is one of those things that is incredibly cheap here. You can merely live on $2 or $3 a day and eat very well for yourself, or you can, if you wanted to go out and have a splurge and go for a big dinner with your family, you might spend I went out with some friends the other day. There was 8 of us. We spent about $40 for 8 of us. I mean, we were eating seafood and big giant prawns and fish and everything. So it was in terms of like the cost of living for food, it's very, very cheap. Looking at gas, gas is about half the price here that it is in Canada, and even that said, we actually had the price of gas double here in the last year because of the oil shortages and stuff. So
a year ago it was a quarter of the price you have in Canada right now. Things like electrical bills, the housing, it's very cheap here. I mean, I live in a kind of 3-bedroom house with a small garden, but I'm in the capital city. It's cost me like $50,000 US.
To buy the house, it actually cost you $50,000 US. That always amazes me. Yeah. Because here, I mean, of course, like I said, to buy a house here, bottom end of the market, you're looking at $500,000.
Yeah. And that's living in the capital. Now, I was looking at some houses up in Chiang Mai, that's in the north of Thailand, where you've got it's in the mountain areas. It's a bit cooler. It's a bit more cultural than Bangkok. And I was looking at some houses there, and I could get a massive house with a huge spread of land, and that was going to cost me again around $100,000 or less for something massive. Anyway, it would dwarf what I have now, but it's just comparatively incredibly cheap. But again, you are living out in the countryside almost, and I say Chiang Mai is still probably the third largest city in Thailand, but just to live up there in the mountains and the hills and get a spread of land on a hillside, it was just insanely cheap. It is really.
See, that's my hot button big time, because you go to a place like that. Okay, so you spend $75,000 on a house, you own it, $100,000, you splurge, you got a big house, and earning internet income. We're all used to earning U.S. dollars online. And the amount of money that even, middle range affiliates earn, living in a place like that, you'd own the house, everything would be paid for. How much money would it cost you to live nicely in a month? Regular stuff, we're not talking going fancy, but you got to feed the family, you got to do all that kind of stuff. And maybe we'll just leave it at that. What would that cost?
Cheap. Let's think. You could probably get by, if you went to anything fancy, you could probably get by $500 a month if you went to anything fancy. That's just like buying food for the house, eating in, watching TV, you're having your cable TV, maybe going out for a few beers every now and again. But you could easily get by on $500 after you've got your accommodation taken care of.
That's stunning. That's just like.
To give you an example, when I first moved here, I was earning $250 a month. So, and I wouldn't say I lived on that, but I survived. I survived on that for the first about 6 months, 8 months. On $250, $300 a month, until I got to the point where I was earning more and getting to the point where I was able to live a little bit. But certainly you can survive, and that was having to pay rent on an apartment and all that kind of stuff in the city. So you can get by on far less. I mean, if you look at the average cost of living here, I think, or the average salary here, it is in the region of about $250 a month is the kind of average salary here if you're looking at a kind of office job. So once you're earning more than the average salary, then you've got an opportunity to kind of live a little bit and experience things at a far higher level.
So that's kind of what it costs to live there. Now maybe we could talk a little bit what it would cost to run a business there. Now obviously people are probably listening to this because they're maybe curious and like the idea of heading to a place like this to spend a month or two, or maybe live for 3 months or more. But now running a business in a place like Thailand, and I know you and I chatted about this 3 times because you nicely reminded me about that at dinner time, and you're right, because it's intriguing to me. I know when I had my office running here, it was costing me anywhere from $20,000 to $25,000 a month, hiring staff and employing and paying the lease and everything that goes with it, and then all the outsourcing I was doing and all the stuff that I was doing then. This was before I decided to go full into Elance and outsource everything, which is definitely the way to go for what I'm doing. But now setting up an office in a place where you live, you were telling me a little bit about what it was costing to hire staff there. And one of the things that I think we're probably, a lot of us are guilty of, we think of these other countries are backwards and a little bit behind us. And in reality, that's so not true. And in fact, sometimes we're behind some of these countries. Now, when it comes to... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think when you look at a lot of countries, it's easy to perceive they're kind of behind, and a lot of it comes down to the technology in terms of what is available locally versus what is available in another country. So, but again, a lot of that is, as I say, when I came out, I had the kind of reverse culture shock of expecting things to be kind of low tech and experience the fact that the capital city of most of these countries like they are very, very high tech. You can go to Vietnam nowadays, the capital cities there, they're very high tech. You've got some very, very big tech firms there. So it is a matter of perception, not reality, that a lot of countries are behind.
So, local labor then. I know you were telling me about some of your programmers that you've hired locally, and one thing I like about what you were telling me, it really, I don't like hiring people here and paying them minimum wage. I feel like it's cheap. I know it's short term. I know they're eking out an existence, and it's really not cool. It goes against everything I know. But I know where you are, you can pay people extremely well compared to what the locals would be making in a traditional job. And maybe you could elaborate on that just a little bit.
A good example is our top programmer at my previous firm. He was an absolute star. He could do anything we wanted to do. He could solve any problem we gave to him. He could do 5 or 6 different programming codes for internet stuff. C++, XML, all that kind of stuff. He was earning $1,500 US at the time, and he was super happy on that. And I think he's got a new job now. He's earning about just under $2,000 US a month. He's probably one of the best programmers I've ever met. And he considers $2,000 to be a top salary for him. He's not looking at where he can get more from that unless he actually decides to move overseas. And obviously, when he moves overseas to somewhere like the States to get a higher salary, then he has to understand there's going to be a higher kind of cost of living and the taxes that go with that. So that's the extreme of like the super good guys. And if you look at the average programmer or designer here, you can easily be paying $300 to $500 a month, and people are going to be happy with that. They're going to be pleased that they've got a reasonable salary. If you've got a guy that's good, you might be paying him $1,000 a month, and again that's a good salary for them. They're going to be happy on that. So yeah, it is comparatively cheaper than the States, and at the same time you're paying people a salary they appreciate. You're not paying them a low ball figure. You're not kind of paying them the low salary. You're paying them a figure that they're happy to have, and again they're going to work hard for that money because they know it's a good salary for them.
Now I know when we're all in the process of building our businesses, and I know people listening are at all different levels. Some people are just getting started. Some people have been around for a long time and are doing extremely well, and everything in between. And this idea of hiring outsourcing, and I know outsourcing, I was at a conference last weekend down in Chicago, and everybody was talking about outsourcing. It's just become the way it is online. And with you, though, you probably do some outsourcing, but you're actually where some of the outsourcing comes from. So you get the benefit of the cost savings, but you actually still get to oversee them personally. I think you got it probably made compared to. I would still prefer to have my talent in my office, but because we're in Canada and we're outsourcing to other countries, they're so far away it's not practical. But with you actually have people right there.
Yeah, outsourcing it can still be a huge lottery. You can find some absolute gems in outsourcing, and you can find some absolute dogs. One of the advantages we have is that we can meet our outsource partners and we can chat to them, and it's very easy for us to see quickly what quality work they can produce. So we have that advantage, and I say we have the advantage that we are local, so we get that kind of the outsourced price, but at the local kind of interaction level. I can pick up the phone and call my guys on my time zone, or I can pop around and see them and ask them, or I can ask them to come and see me. So it's almost like having them as part of the team, but at the same time they're still outsourced. I haven't got to worry about their personal taxes or anything beyond the fact that they're doing the work for me. There's no holidays, sick leave, all that kind of jazz. So I get the outsourced prices and the outsourced luxury with the kind of in-house instant contact and feely, touchy stuff that's good to have when you want to work with somebody.
Now, when you're working in your business, and you're obviously a middleman between, I guess what you call it, a middleman between the merchant and the affiliate. Would that be a good?
We like to call it the kind of the oil. We lubricate. We make things work nicely. Yeah.
That's actually a good way to say it. Would you mind give me a picture? Give us a picture of what your business looks like in Thailand. You have an office. You've got employees. What does AMWSO look like?
We have a very small office. So we have 20 staff. If all our staff turned up at the work on the same day, they wouldn't fit in the office, and that is because I like my staff to work from home. I like my staff to have the flexibility to again get out and travel where they want to go. One of my guys just came out from the States today. One of my guys actually does spend 3 months a year in Canada and then goes back to Thailand for 3 months and then goes out to Canada for 3 months, and he's also from Vancouver. So there's people doing it. So I've got guys from England and they go out to England as well to work. So the internet has made it very possible for even a corporation to have their staff work from wherever they want to work from, and because our work is 100% internet, it's a luxury that we can all enjoy. So what does amwso look like at any particular time of the day? It can be the fact that there is nobody perceivably at the office, but we're all working at home. I mean, certainly myself, I spend 95% of my time at home. I go into the office as seldom as possible, and if anything, my staff would prefer to meet at Starbucks or another coffee shop or an internet cafe or one of the hotels that's got a wireless there, so they prefer to meet there than at the office. I mean, our weekly meetings, we tend to get together at one of the pubs and we book one of their upstairs rooms, so we gather around, have our kind of company meeting, have a few beers and a meal there, and as I say, looking at the cost of living, I'm taking the whole team out for dinner, and it's costing me $60, $70 for the whole team. So it's another cost of living saving there, I guess. I'd say we're a very wireless company. We work from wherever we are. One of the things we try and insist on in the company is if the team is going away, it's like, hey, make sure you've got internet. If you're going on holiday, then make sure the hotel you've got has got internet. There's no point. We can't service our clients if we go on holiday to a location that has no internet. So that does limit us to some extent, that we can't go to some of the more extreme places or some of the more exciting places. But that's the kind of price we pay for the flexibility we've got. Our clients, they want us to be online all the time. They want us to have instant access. They're not paying for us to go on holiday. So when our guys are on holiday, they still need to have the ability to work and seamlessly exist for our clients to kind of tap into them and call them or get them online, answer emails, and do the work all the time.
In the area of banking, how does the banking work from a country like Thailand? Do you and even down to the places like PayPal? Is PayPal accepted there? Does PayPal do this type of thing, or how do you run your banking there?
PayPal is certainly accepted, and we can cash out into local bank accounts as well. I actually do all my banking through Hong Kong, and that's purely for tax reasons. I have a BVI company set up, which as a kind of a tax-free haven in the British Virgin Islands. Mm-hmm. So I run all my companies actually registered there. My bank in Hong Kong is registered as part of my BVI, so most of my American business actually goes through my BVI into Hong Kong, so that's where I do my banking. Again, it's a tax haven, so I don't have to pay any kind of income tax or VAT or that kind of jazz, and neither do my clients. And then I have my local clients. They basically pay me locally, so they're paying VAT, and we're paying a couple of the smaller taxes. So
VAT, that would be like value-added tax?
Yeah, value-added tax. Yeah, it's about 7% here.
Okay.
And
same here.
There's a couple of other taxes that add up to about 2 or 3% on the kind of local business. But see, I try and keep most of my money overseas and in Hong Kong, where it's easy for me to get hold of wherever I am in the world, or if I need it, I can just bring it into Thailand in chunks. So it's. But yeah, generally the bank is like, if I wanted to bring the money into Thailand, yeah, fine, I can do that. There are even banks in Thailand that will do US dollar accounts for you, so you can bring your money in US dollars and keep it here, and then change it to Thai baht as you need it. At the same time, all the ATMs work here. You've got Sirius, Visa, MasterCard, all the kind of international ATM systems work here merrily. So even if you want to put your money into an American bank and then draw it out to the ATM, that is an option as well. So it's there's certainly no limit really on the banking services. I can even take credit cards. I can take most American credit cards here, MasterCard, Visa, Amex, through a number of different banks that will allow us to process credit cards. So yeah, it's pretty much business as usual really in terms of the banking and doing the kind of commerce stuff.
It's also interesting to me because I would imagine a lot of people are in the same boat. I'm born in Vancouver. I was born in Vancouver General Hospital. I've lived here my entire life, and I've had a chance, to do some traveling in the last few years. Lots of trips. So I've kind of got this little flavor of what's going on out there now. And because prior to getting into the internet and making money with affiliate programs, as many people know my story, my idea of a holiday was camping or heading over to grandma's house. So this whole big wide world is opening up nicely for not only myself, but I know a number of students and a number of other people and associates and all kinds of people now that are starting to basically have the ability to travel and to start to, options. I guess that's probably the thing. We've got many more options than we had, with the typical geographical, even job or business. We have a tendency, I find, to get tied to our local area geographically, whether it's because of family or friends or our job is there, or most businesses are geographically based, where you can't just pack up and head off out the door because your clientele, your business, your office, the building you work in is all located where you live. And the beautiful thing I find about the internet is that's completely not the case, where we have the ability to go out and say, okay, I'm going to move to another country, and all I have to do is turn my computer on, and my business is in front of me. So it's a pretty unique thing. And for those people that may be just getting started and starting to really dig into this, it's worthwhile figuring this thing out, because the options and the freedom that it gives you is amazing. Now,
definitely, yeah. I think a lot of people get concerned in terms of, okay, how much is it going to cost them to live, or and that can be off-putting if you start focusing too much on, okay, am I going to be able to survive, or how much is it going to cost? I mean, but looking at some of the guys I know here doing affiliate marketing, yeah, there are the big guys, and you've got a lot of guys who live on in islands like Phuket, which is like one of the big holiday destinations, and they've been there for years doing their affiliate marketing business in the hotel area, or in RX, or in those sort of areas. But you've also got a new kind of level of smaller affiliates, and these guys are maybe earning $1,000 a month. And back in America, $1,000 a month as an affiliate, you're not going to survive on that. You're toast. But you've got these guys that come to Thailand now. They've got their laptop. They're earning $1,000 a month, and they're living on a beach. They're not living in some luxury condo, but they're living on a small holiday camp. They may be spending $300 a month on their rent. And they've got $700 a month to kind of do what they want, eat, sleep, live on the beach, and enjoy life in a kind of in a almost a paradise, really. And, get down to the tropical beaches, and if they get bored of that beach, they move to the next beach. It's wireless is really become has the penetration throughout a lot of the world nowadays, so you don't have to kind of worry about, can I get internet when I get there? And again, it's just about doing a bit of research before you head out to make sure where you're going does have internet. And there are so many places that have internet cafes nowadays as well, so it's not expensive to kind of get out there and work overseas. I mean, the internet for me, for example, cost me $20 a month for unlimited access. So once you're here, you get set up. It's, $1,000 will certainly see you through every month with a bit of spare change as well.
That's what's so appealing to me, is the low cost of living. We've done well online, and that's great, but the money over there, if somebody was earning $10,000 or $20,000 or $30,000 a month and they moved to a place, you would be forget about king. You would be the emperor. I mean, you wouldn't have to waste the money. You could actually bank it and invest way more of it, because you wouldn't be spending it on gas so much or cost of living. $100. Arlene and I go out for dinner to a nice restaurant. It'll cost us $80 or $100. So you have a bottle of wine, a couple of nice steaks. I'll have some lobster with it, maybe a drink after dinner, and that's $100 gone. Poof. Where you're talking about, it's like $5 or $10. That's a substantial savings for the same thing. Like, that is an amazing savings. The difference in lifestyle could be huge, absolutely huge. And then the other thing is, you don't actually, in our case, I'm not planning to abandon Canada. I'm still a Canadian, and my plan here is to become a non-resident. I still maintain my citizenship, but you become a non-resident, and you pay the tax in the country that you live, which in Canada, as many of us know, and probably where you came from, the taxes are a little bit excessive. So this is cool. I need to do this. Lots of us need to do this.
I think it's important that people do get out and do it. I mean, I think one of the reasons we all work on the internet is to give ourselves a bit of freedom, and a lot of the time I think that freedom becomes just another desk at home as opposed to a desk at a hotel or a table on the beach. I think it's important to sometimes just step back and think, okay, could I do this job somewhere else? Could I really take my laptop and do it somewhere else? And maybe the first thing is to do something a bit local. Maybe just go out every day to the internet cafe and say, okay, can I work from this internet cafe? Okay, now if its internet cafe was in Jamaica, or if it was in the Caribbean, it was in Mexico, was it in Asia, is it going to be any different? And the answer is going to be no. So once a person realizes that they can work outside of their home, away from their personal office, then they're going to realize that they can do this job from anywhere they want to do it from, and it applies to any internet job, not just affiliate marketing, whether they do email marketing or CPC or whatever. It's once you realize that you're not tied to that desk at your house, then it becomes easier to realize that you can work anywhere in the world. Absolutely.
That's one thing I'm known for. I work all over the place. I work in my office, I work on the kitchen table, I work over in the living room, I work at the internet cafe. I got my laptop down at the little pub, or I'm on an airplane somewhere. And you're right, that's actually a very good point. If that's a good way to, see if it's for you. This ability to take your computer and go plop yourself down somewhere and actually get something done is that's very good advice.
Yeah. I mean, and taking that first step, it might be okay taking a kind of a 2-week holiday that's close by. So not maybe traveling too far overseas. Say if you're in America or Canada, then maybe it's Mexico you try out, or Jamaica to try that out. It's a 2-week holiday, just to test how it goes. It's a trial, if you like. Once you've tested that, okay, try it for a bit longer, and then start traveling further afield and experiencing what it's like to be on the road and do the work. And I know for myself, when I go on holiday, I've got my little laptop, I take it over with me, and funny enough, the biggest challenge I have is when I get overseas is actually closing my laptop and experiencing the country I'm in. It's very easy to get overseas and say, okay, kids, I need to check my email, and then suddenly it's 6 hours later, it's, oh, sorry, kids, we're going to Disneyland today, but we didn't make it. We'll do it tomorrow, I promise. And then suddenly, of course, the next day is another box of email. So the big challenge for me when I'm traveling is to make myself limit what I'm doing now. And funny enough, I went to Hong Kong at Christmas, and I took my laptop, and I was thinking, okay, right, a couple hours a day doing work, and I left my power pack at home. So suddenly I went from, okay, I can work as much as I like, to the fact, okay, I have to limit myself to an hour a day because otherwise my battery's going to run out. So that was
very nice.
That was the incentive to get my work done quickly because I had no battery power. My battery was going to run out. So maybe that can be a great tool: is leave your power cords at home and just work on your battery, and that limits your work time to as fast as you can do it.
That's a great idea. I actually have something similar that I do, only it's not a battery, it's my wife, Arlene. What she does, we go to Maui or something, and I want to spend an hour a day on my business, checking email, checking stats, make sure everything's running good, and that just kind of keep your hand on the pulse. So there's a beautiful little internet cafe right in Lahaina, where it's got the beach and the sand and the palm trees and the blue water, all that stuff. So I'll plop myself down there. They'll drop me off there. We'll be out walking around, and I'll go into the internet cafe, and I'll be working away. And an hour later, guess who shows back up? Arlene and the kids. And it's like, okay, you're done. Let's go. And off we go. And it works good. You're right. It's amazing what you can get done in 1 hour, because if you got the time run, I only got an hour, there's certain things you got to get done. You sure don't waste any time.
No, I can literally spend all day on the internet, and the reality is that the things I accomplish, I can do in 2 hours a bit. And you sit there and you do a bit of work and think, okay, I'll check my email. And you check email and there's nothing there. You think, okay, I'll wait 10 minutes and see if anything turns up. And then one email turns up. It's a spam. You delete it. Okay, I'll wait 10 minutes and see what else turns up. And before you know it, you've done that for 3 hours and you've really done nothing at all. Yet you can go out for the whole day, come back, and those same 20 emails are there, which you delete half of them because they're junk anyway, and suddenly those 10 emails are done in 20 minutes, and you've not spent the whole day just checking emails every 5 minutes, and that's a crime I'm guilty of to an extreme, is just sitting there and, okay, I'll check, just see if it's coming in or not, and it's you don't need to do it. You can easily do it. As you say, you can easily do what you need to do in 1 hour, 2 hours, and then put it away, go out, 6-8 hours, come back, and then do those whole 10 emails that came in during the day and get it done. And it's a bit different for me because I live in Thailand, so we're basically 12 to 15 hour time difference from the States. So most of my email does come in overnight, so I kind of get up in the morning and then my email box is full of all my work.
Yep.
I clear that very, very quickly. I'm not going to get any responses from the States because everybody's in bed by that time, so I kind of clear that, I send it off, and then all I've got to worry about is the kind of local stuff now for my own team, which I can take care of in the evening, and they all work all different times of the day as well. It's not I can say they work 9 till 6. A lot of them are working, they might start work at 4 in the afternoon and work till midnight to kind of cover the US time zone. So it's the email does come in kind of chunks during the day, and it's kind of very easy to deal with, and that gives me the time off once I can free myself from that clicking the email box.
Now, you deal with affiliates all day long, I would imagine, you and your team.
Yeah.
And obviously you work with merchants. One of the things that I am always looking for, and I know people who listen are usually looking for, as far as those who are affiliates, we're always looking for cool affiliate programs to represent that have good conversion rates and that have merchants who will take care of us and provide us with good creative that actually converts to sales so we can get paid our commission, so we can do the stuff that we're talking about.
Fine.
So because you're in the middle of it all, literally, is there any programs that, and now I know you're not a network, you're an outsourcing program, so you're kind of looking at it like we are, kind of on the outside a little bit, representing other companies. So is there anything you can recommend? Do you have any programs that you know of that, be a little secret, kind of cool, that, convert really well, or any tools, that type of thing?
Sure, definitely. A couple of programs we work on and we enjoy working with. Gayam is a big one. I think a lot of people in America will know Gayam. They're a very big brand in terms of health and environmental products, sustainable products, alternative healthcare, lifestyle products. So they do everything from solar panels to the Secret, the DVD that came out, The Secret. They were selling that as well. So they do a huge wide range of products. They're a very nice company to promote because they are kind of environmentally friendly. They have a perspective of taking care of the world. They're not just out there, making money as fast as they can. So it's nice to promote that product if you get what I mean there.
Yeah.
They have a huge range of products and because they spend a lot of money in terms of their own brand, their own TV products, they convert very, very well because people they watch the TV ads, they understand the products, they go online, they find the website, it's an immediate kind of reminder about that particular product, and they click through and they're buying products online fairly easy, and we're looking at a very good conversion rates there. But
so that would be Gayam. How would you spell that?
That's GAIAM.
GAIAM, and that would be .com, I would assume.
.com, yeah, Gayam.com.
Gayam. Yeah. And again, what type of products are they?
They do everything from get fit videos, things like yoga, pilates. They do clothing like organic cotton clothing. They do solar panels. They do some health vitamins. They do alternative light products, bed sheets, furniture. Pretty much a very broad range of products. And no matter what kind of niche you're looking at, you can usually find something on Gayam that's going to fit with your site, whether it's furniture, fitness, travel, decorations, furnishings. They really kind of cover the whole broad range, but it's all within that that sustainable products and environmental friendly products.
Yeah, I'm actually on the site now. It looks great. Gayam.com.
The site's very, very nice. I mean, they also have a fantastic travel section. If you look at their travel section, there's trips to drool over there. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the travel site as part of the affiliate program, but they have some stunning trips on that travel section. Things like a month in the Arctic and some real way out trips that I'd love to get on myself.
No kidding, yeah. Here, I'm looking at something very cool here. They sell wind generators, so these big wind mills, modern windmills. That's cool. The SkyStream 3.7 grid tie wire turbine, $5,400. There's a nice
commission, yeah.
No kidding. I know you represent a whole bunch of probably merchants, so you may not know, but any idea what the commission rate would that be on something like that?
They pay anything from 8% and up. I know they'll pay more for guys that can drive good conversion rates or consistent traffic, but I think their base is about 8%.
So what's 8% of $5,400? Where's my calculator? I need my calculator.
It's going to be about 500, I guess, 500 US.
That'd be a good commission per sale. I think somebody might need to build a wind turbine site.
Yeah.
And we've got a bunch of them here, $2,300, $2,800, $5,455, all power generators. Very cool.
Yeah.
Solar living, water pumps, hydropower. Yeah, this eco tools. Then the wellness, personal care, alternative therapy. Absolute household products, bedroom, living space. I'm a big fan of the household products. You know, you'd see this boom on TV. I don't know if it's going on over there, but over on North America here, lots of home improvement shows and lots of, you know, fix up the house, clean up the backyard type of shows on. Fuel the whole renovation boom in North America. So, and I know those types of sites are doing extremely well.
Yeah, we've got the reality TV do your house up stuff. Yeah, so we get that on cable. Yep.
See, lots of fitness products, always big. Stretching, walking, cardio, apparel. Yeah, definitely a site worth checking out. So if somebody was looking to join a program like this, how would they go about doing that?
GAIAM's on LinkShare, so if they're already on the LinkShare network, they can just search for GAIAM and they'll find them very quickly in the directory.
Okay.
Else, there should be an affiliate link, join our affiliate program link somewhere on their website. Yeah,
I see it down at the bottom of the page here.
At the bottom. Or if they go to the AMWso site, there's also a link there for GAIAM.
Now, what about creative? What about, you know, you and I were talking about some video and stuff. Maybe you could expand upon that a little.
Yeah, GAIAM are great because they do a lot of alternative advertising. They do the TV advertising, print advertising. They have a vast selection of creatives you can get hold of. But one thing we've really enjoyed of late is getting hold of their videos. Now, there's a lot of talk about using video for affiliate marketing. One of the challenges has been getting quality video. You know, you can throw up a video and it's going to look awful and it's not going to help anything. One thing we've found with GAIAM is because they have the TV shows ready, they have the infomercials, we've been able to take those videos and put them onto the internet, and they work really well. Now, we're working with a hosting partner with the video who basically takes care of all our hosting for us, and they actually pre-code the videos, so they make it into a kind of two-step process of sticking your affiliate code, create the script, and we can have any affiliate up and running with video in literally seconds because it's that easy. And there's no cost for the affiliate because our hosting company takes care of all the bandwidth, all the video processing stuff. So it's pretty much a matter of choosing a video.
So when somebody watches this video, let's say maybe you place this video on your website, how does the affiliate get paid? Is there something they can click on after they watch the video?
Yeah, there's basically there's the logo runs in the video. There's a link on the video itself, and I believe at the beginning and end of the video, the whole video itself is clickable. So these basically go through the network and then straight onto the site. So they work almost like any other banner, apart from they're interactive, and they're going to grab hold of the consumer and say, you know, watch this video. And you know, once you've seen something, it's like you know, TV infomercial. A person wants to pick up the phone and make the order. They're just going to click and make the order. And we found that the videos, when they're presented in the right niche, or they're presented in the right sort of focus of the website, then they're going to drive a great conversion. They're going to push things along much faster than a banner or any sort of text. So it's been quite amazing the impact that video can have.
You'd mentioned a web page address to me where you said people could have a look at some of these videos. Do you recall that by chance? I could probably find it here.
Here we go. Yeah, it's. Would it be easier to stick it in the chat box, or shall I'll read it out now?
Yeah, read it out. Just read it slow. People can have their pens handy.
Yeah, okay. Get your pens handy. It's www.amwso.com and then /GAIAM and then / again and then AFFILIATE videos.php. So that's amwso /GAIAM /affiliatevideos.php. And on that page is a whole list of all the GAIAM videos that are available. And by clicking at any video there, it will take you to a page which A, shows you the video, and then B, shows you the simple two-step process of putting your code, click generate, to get the actual script to put that video onto your web page. And it's so simple, it's silly.
I'm looking at them now. Very interesting. These are beautiful. These are definitely worth looking at for sure. Pilates, GX Express, Billy Banks. There you go. Over here, I got one of the videos in front of me, so you can see the video. I'm going to hit the play button here. see what we see. Oh, yeah, right below there's a little link that says buy this DVD now. I guess that would be where the affiliate link would go. So
yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's a little two-step. Very simple. Absolutely. No, this is great. Definitely great. Yeah, video's definitely making its mark online. I'm a big YouTube fan. I'm always in there looking at something. I was in there today just kind of poking around. It's every affiliate should probably, if you can get a merchant that can give you this level of quality of creative to add to your site, it's dynamite. Yeah. Okay, so that's Guyam. Any others come to mind?
Well, you mentioned Billy Blanks, and Billy Blanks is actually part of one of our other programs called GT Media. Now, funny enough, Guyam actually own GT Media, but they run two separate affiliate programs. Now, Guyam they have their own site for all the health, fitness, recyclable products, all that kind of gear. GT Media is very much focused on fitness and as seen on TV products. So they have Billy Blanks, they have The Firm, they have Leslie Sanson, they have a couple other brands that they sell, and their focus is 95% TV, and they pump out brand new products and new infomercials every year to promote their new products. The infomercials are very big. They spend billions of dollars on these ads to kind of build them and broadcast them. And again, this generates a huge amount of consumer awareness of these brands. So the consumer gets online later in the day or later in the week. They see those sites. It's a second kick in the head to kind of go out there and click the button and buy the product. So GT Media, again, they offer all of these if you like high brand or high brand awareness products that have been promoted through the TV. They're all fitness focused. And again, they convert very, very well, especially in New Year. It's just past the kind of fitness prime time. I say post Christmas is when people are thinking, "Oops, I put on a few extra pounds at Christmas. I need to get those off." But certainly, people are still focused on being fit throughout the year. But it's New Year is really the kind of key time for fitness products for them.
I'm back on your site now. Any other merchants that come to mind?
Waterfront Media is another great one we have. They actually, say GT Media is on LinkShare. Waterfront Media, they are on Commission Junction. They run, again, a range of fitness and diet. Funny enough, that seems to be my focus today is fitness and diet. And again, they run these online health diet and fitness clubs. Things like, let me just grab a name here for you. They got.
I like the windmills. 8% of a $5,500 sale, $500 commission per unit. Move a couple of those a week, and that's $4,000 a month, and you can live anywhere on the planet you want.
Well, definitely, yes. Just, you get 2 sales a month. You'll be happy on 2 sales a month in Thailand. So that's it. Just drive those two windmills. Waterfront Media. They have people like Denise Austin, Gillian Michaels. The South Beach Diet, the Sonoma Diet. These are all kind of fitness and diet-focused clubs, if you like. They basically promote their online clubs, and we basically promote membership. So people sign up for the clubs, and they pay about $40 commission per sign-up. So it's a pretty good commission for someone to sign up for these clubs. Once they've signed up, they kind of get access to menus and kind of diet plans, fitness plans, all that kind of stuff. Now, funny enough, I actually took one of their plans home with me when we signed up. I took the Sonoma diet home with me, and it's a kind of California, south of France, Mediterranean sort of diet plan, and I actually lost 15 kilos on it. So whilst I enjoy promoting my products, I enjoy products that I can use myself as well. So that was a real treat to get a product that actually helped me lose a bit of weight at the same time as making the affiliates a lot of money.
Yeah, no kidding. Absolutely.
So that's those. For guys that like promoting software, we also have Panda Software. They're one of the big antivirus software companies. And again, they do very well for us. Antivirus is always big on everybody's mind in terms of protecting their PCs and ensuring they're not getting viruses. So Panda is a great product to promote to really anybody. People who get new PCs, people who are learning about the internet for the first time, people who are buying PCs, all that kind of stuff. It's a very good product. It's a very good program to promote.
I noticed on your homepage of your site, which is amwso.com, you've got all the latest on all the products and the different feeds from Guyam, free data feeds, and you've got new affiliate fitness and wellness coupon. So it looks like you keep your affiliates really up to date by just the stuff I'm looking at here.
We provide an RSS to our affiliates so they can subscribe to our RSS, and they'll get all the latest updates straight out to them. They'll get the daily coupons, bestsellers, promotion tips, new videos, new creative ideas, Mother's Day specials, sales information. So they can subscribe and they get all the information that'll help them choose what they want to promote, what they want to do, keep them up to date on what's happening. So that really helps our affiliates. And again, we find it's better than email. I mean, people get email and it's easy just to stick in the trash bin, or just you haven't got time, you delete it. RSS is great because it's always there. You can plug into it anytime you want to, read the news and act to it as soon as you like. You haven't got to worry that you've missed something because it's always going to be there. I guess you can delete the RSS straight off your reader, but ultimately it's not intrusive like email can be. It's something you choose to go and read when you've got time, and we kind of keep all our affiliates up to date as much as we can in terms of what's going on with our programs and what new programs we have coming up.
And how would somebody go about to subscribe to that?
On the top of our page, there's a little button called Get AmWso. If you click that, then it gives you access to the RSS. And from there, you can add it to your RSS reader or to your Yahoo account or MSN account. I think all of these now have RSS readers as well, so it becomes I think even in IE7 you can just save it as a live feed site. I think it's called.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here. Looks great.
There's quite a big range of products now that you can help you to kind of read RSS. It used to be one of those technology scary things, but it's become very easy to find things that can help you read the RSS or get hold of the RSS nowadays.
Yeah, I'm at this point. I'm going to subscribe to yours. I haven't been part of this one, but I actually like these readers and I do use the Google version.
Yeah.
And the ability to, there's nothing worse than getting emails that get gobbled up by your spam filters. I mean, I don't mind the spam filters taking my spam, but lately they've been getting my good emails too, and I get an email from somebody, why are you ignoring me? Why didn't you respond to me? And it's like, you go look through your spam, and there it is. It's right in front of you, so really, very cool.
But the RSS, it cuts through the club, and you haven't got to worry about the spam. You haven't got to. For us, it means we put it out there. People can subscribe. They can read it when they want to read it. It's not something that we've got to keep sending emails in. A lot of these things, they're very short piece of information. Now, I don't want to send an email out every day when we've got something going. We've got one new banner. We've got it's a little bit of extra information, because people are going to get fed up of getting 3 or 4 emails a week. Nobody wants to get 3 emails a week from us. But we want to get this information out in a kind of timely fashion. So having the RSS means that people can subscribe and they get it in their time when they want to read it. And we can make sure the information is always up to date and it's timely. And at the same time, there's a big history of everything there. So people can scan through it and see what they've missed, or if there was a bonus that kind of was launched earlier this month, but they want to get on it, then the information is still there for them to grab hold of and make use of. So nothing is missed. It's not like emails where you can overlook it, you delete it, you've lost it forever. RSS really kind of gives you the history of everything, and it's always there. It's always on.
Well, I think you've covered it. Anything else come to mind? I think we're just about running out of time here. So anything else that you want to share that comes to mind as far as AMWSO?
No, I mean, I think we've covered a lot of things. One thing I would like to say is certainly if anybody's coming to Thailand, then give us a bell. We'd be happy to take you out for dinner and chat, and whether it's over a few beers or some food, and whether it's we talk about travel or talk about business, that's fine. I don't mind. We're happy to meet anybody over here that's coming our way, and I do encourage everybody to get out there and try working on the road. It's some of the once you've tried it and you realise it works, it kind of opens up your life. And I think we all work online because we want to have that open door to do more and travel more. And it is easy to get stuck on that desk, and I kind of encourage everybody to kind of give it a go and get out there and try living away from the desk.
Yeah, and that's very well said, and that is the goal of, I think probably just about everybody listening is to get some freedom into their lives, because, for those that have jobs still and who are looking to, break away and, take control of their own financial destiny instead of working for somebody else, or even those that are just looking to earn a little bit of extra income, which I know so many are doing so well at doing, that getting away from, and we talk a lot about breakations, where you work hard, you play hard, you spend some time in front of your machine and you get it done. I love the 1 hour analogy, or the battery's dead. You can only work until the battery goes dead. Great little ways to collapse some time frames and work hard and, you know, get a whole bunch done in a very short period of time, and then take a break. And Thailand sounds like a great place to take a break. Now, I don't know if 3 months would be actually technically a breakation. That's a little bit overkill, but definitely something I'm planning on doing very soon. And we're going to be looking forward to doing that.
Yeah. I'll give you just a few seconds. I'll give you another example, James. Is one of my friends is an English guy. He just recently sold his house in the UK, moved to Thailand. You know, he's now basically bumming around Thailand, enjoying all the beaches, enjoying the lifestyle, living off his savings from selling his house. But at the same time, he actually sells stuff on eBay. So what he's done is basically, through his eBay selling, he's basically making enough money to exist in Thailand and travel around. So again, it's not just affiliate marketing. I think any business somebody does online is something you can travel and do, whether it's eBay auctions or affiliate marketing, CPC. It's the door's wide open to kind of get out there and do more.
That's what amazes me, you know. There's so many ways to make money on the internet, and it's just, I remember back in, would have been New Year's Eve of 1998, when I was sitting talking with a few friends of mine, when we realized if we're not making $5,000 a month by the end of the year, by the end of 1999, we're asleep at the switch. You know, if they could put a man on the moon or build a 50-story high-rise, I can surely figure out a way to put a website together that can earn a couple, $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month, if I just focus on it and figure out how to do it. And goodness knows, there's more than enough people that have led the way that are doing it now that when somebody make a decision that, hey, I'm going to make this work, it's completely doable.
Yeah.
So, Chris, I want to thank you for taking the time. I know it's probably time for your breakfast.
I can smell it cooking here. So
yeah, that's good. That's good. And thank you for all the information that you've shared. I know that many are listening on the telephone. Some of us are, there's a bunch in the conference room right now where Chris and I are going to head into the conference room to take care of a live Q&A. Anybody has any questions, it's part of my private members area. You're welcome to join us back in the conference room. For those that are maybe listening to this as a recording in the future, you can learn more about what we do at jamesmartell.com. Of course, Chris's website address is www.amwso.com, so you can learn a lot more about the merchants that Chris represents so that you can get some of those commission checks heading in your direction. So once again, Chris, thank you very much, and we'll meet you in the conference room.
Yep, thank you very much, James. It's my pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
To learn more about James Martell, the School of Internet Marketing, and how you or someone on your staff can quickly and easily learn how to develop a successful online presence for your personal or corporate brand, visit theschoolofinternetmarketing.com. That's www.theschoolofinternetmarketing.com.